Here we go again. Put my microphone on. So we were just talking on the phone and we decided to bring that conversation live because it was quite an interesting conversation. And so here we are.
Hello. Oh, and the baby.
Can you hear him?
Yeah. He's fussing a little bit.
He's just chatting.
Is he chatting?
Yeah. He is just chatting.
Can't get over how huge he is.
He's a monster. Oh. Yeah, he's lovely. When I say he's a monster, I mean he's big, not like he's an actual monster.
He is big.
Yes.
He is big.
But yeah, it's weird, isn't it? When you stop a conversation, you go, right, let's go live to talk about this. And then, we've got to kind of get into the space where we're having that conversation again. But
Why don't you relay what happened?
So I'm doing this series going live anyway, and been very lucky so far that I haven't really been that anxious or that triggered by showing up. And then this morning I did episode 8 and I came off of it feeling that real uncomfortable, anxious, like, oh my God feeling. The thing that had triggered it was the fact that I felt like I hadn't really I'd been rambling and waffly. I was a bit of a mess, is what I found out that I was upset about. And I was rambling and I wasn't finishing my points, and I didn't get to the bit where I had actually rounded things off and like given 5 steps. And then I realized that my live was preventing John and Jennifer going live. And then I felt bad because I was like, oh, now this is impacting other people. Like, me being messy is now having an impact on other people. And I just came off, I was really, really triggered, by it. Not the most triggered I've ever been, but I was triggered by it. And that is the whole point of this. It's like, and I'm just, part of me is like, why am I doing that to myself? Like, why am I putting myself in an environment where I'm in public trying to force myself to be uncomfortable and triggered so that I can deal with it and get those thorns out in front of people? Like, that is some scary stuff when it actually happens. I think when you're not triggered and you go, yeah, I'm going to do that. Yeah, we'll breeze through that. That'll be great. And then when you actually get triggered, it's like, this doesn't feel very safe. What am I doing this for? So
yeah. And then what were we talking about? Because I was like, I thought it was great. You were worried about how it came across, but that was only when you were sort of triggered. In the end, you're like, it was fine.
Yeah.
But like, we were talking about, well, I like that as authentic content. And I was like, I think you wanted to debrief. That's why you wanted to come on. He's like, I really feel like you felt like you needed to debrief. I don't remember why I'm here. I had a whole walk in between.
I mean, I don't know if I came across as anxious. Probably not. Like, there's this phrase that one of my old mentors says. It's like, it's never as good as it looks on the outside, and it's never as bad as it feels on the inside, right? And I really like that, because it's like, oh yeah, that's actually so true. Like, often when I look back on my videos, I'm like, wow, like I didn't feel like the way I look, when I was delivering that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I was anxious. I don't know if it came across, but the thing that was, when I dug into that and I did the journaling afterwards, that's the whole point of this. I'm going live anyway to face these demons, because I can 100% just fake it and cover it up and keep going, and then just feel really uncomfortable and then just carry on going. And I really wanted to use this as an opportunity to grow through it rather than just go over it and go past it. Your audio is gone. But then Caroline was saying, when we were on the phone and I was telling her about it, and I was saying, like, Caroline, I felt really, really uncomfortable and blah, blah, blah. And she was saying that, like, that's the kind of content that she loves anyway. Like, she's always wanted us to create this kind of showing up a little bit rough around the edges content because it's really, really authentic. And the bit that we got to on the phone was like, yeah, but I mean, that's kind of the thing that I've been, preaching about for so long anyway.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Still makes me feel so uncomfortable when it comes down to it. But yeah.
But I didn't realize that you were doing this to trigger yourself. Like I didn't realize that. Like I kind of knew that you were being intentional about your energy, but I thought you'd got through the triggers or through the reasons why you hadn't shown up. I didn't realize you were using showing up as a way to torment yourself.
Well, that isn't necessarily the only objective. Like, I think that you have to face the things that are making you feel uncomfortable head on in order to really feel them. And often they can lie a bit dormant until you have to face it. So for instance, when Arlo was born, it's been a massive healing journey for me because I've felt things that I haven't felt since my last child was a baby. Right. And so it's kind of like that. It's like I wanted to get myself into a space where I was like, how am I going to be intentional and show up show back up? Like, what can I do? Because, we were talking about starting a YouTube channel and doing all these things. And I was like, what's my thing? What can my concept be? And blah, blah, blah. And I was like, yeah, but I'm still feeling this resistance to showing up. And why is that? And I was looking into that and I'm like, oh, you're feeling this resistance to showing up because of this, that, this, and the other. But then it isn't until you then actually start showing up and facing it that those feelings can properly come to the surface again. And so, yeah, that I think for the first time throughout this, that's what happened this morning. It's like I've done 7 lives and they've been fine. And I've managed to like not hit any landmines. And then today, I don't know, it just began and I started to feel like really anxious. And so then
I was able to watch bits of it and you seemed fine. But I know that wasn't the point of it. But it's crazy what happens in your head. I can't believe we're mad to I want to do that as well. I want to put myself, it's like, do you remember that time you rang me? Like, I need you to trigger me. Tell me something horrible. I was like, I can't do that. You're like, I need to know. Just tell me I'm a failure. I was like, I can't help you with that.
And to give context to that, it's because me and Caroline have this method for working on ourselves that really works. So we know that we can only get through, it's kind of like getting through the eye of the needle. There's only one way through it, and that's to go through it. And so,
and you're built to avoid it at all costs. Like your brain and what your resources are hardwired to stay away from the thing that will bring you salvation. And so in order to so not only are you hardwired to stay away from it, you're hardwired to be blind to it. It's like it. And I find as well, sometimes I'm really struggling to figure out what I'm upset about or whatever it is. And as soon as I start talking to someone, it will come out for a conversation rather than by myself. I struggle so much, especially with the less intense ones. When it was so intense, when I was riddled with anxiety and when I was riddled with depression and when I felt dread and when I felt when it was so bad, it was so much easier to find what the problem was. And so now I can only be grateful that I don't feel those things anymore, but I still feel moments of pain. I had my own thorn this morning, which I couldn't fully get out because I had a core as well. And it was I say it was silly. I think they're all silly when you get to it because they're like, oh, well, of course that's not true.
Yeah.
But you can't invalidate yourself because it's, it feels very real. But it's so hard to it's just so hard to even see it. That's what winds me up about it the most. I can't see what I'm aiming towards. And then when you find, so then you go, okay, well, the only thing I can do is put myself into the torture pit because that'll show me, hey, I think it's in the realm of, I don't know, dating. So let's go put myself on a dating app.
Yeah.
What a stupid decision. But yeah, it helped. And actually, I got upset because of something to do with a dating app today. And that's also since being on the phone to you has resolved as well.
Yeah.
Like yeah.
I think
I kind of feel like every time I've been making content, it always comes back to this for me. I think this is a really important topic for me, like the thorns and thorn finding. I think it's like the basis of everything for me. It always comes back to this. I don't want all my content to be about this, and I don't want this had us to talk to rebels, but it's so significant. It's a huge part of our lives.
Hang on. Facebook's always muted, and it wasn't there. Yeah, I think it's really an incredible journey to be on, to be actually taking action and having a method to heal. I know what you're saying though. It's not entirely relevant all the time. I don't want my content to be about it either, because I don't want to become a therapist. Like that's not my life's vocation. But there might be some link, because what we were talking about,
it's very significant, isn't it?
Yeah. And actually one thing that's been a thread for me for so long is helping people to be themselves. In fact, when I had rest in peace, John Jackson.
Oh yeah.
He did my purpose statement, and it was about being yourself. And when I defined what rebellious meant, when I launched Rebellious Business, it was like having the tenacity to show up and really be yourself. And the methods that I've taught in marketing around tribe funnels and live funnels and all of that, and I teach marketing from a place of the purpose of marketing is human connection. And it's, you can't really connect with people properly if you're not really being yourself. And when you do show up as yourself, then what happens is you attract the kind of people that would naturally click with you anyway. And then there's this part of me that's hiding, and there's this part of me that's anxious and scared of being myself, right? And so yeah, and so these are the layers, these are the layers to it, because it's not just like black and white. Like I've done a lot of work on myself to get to the point where I can put myself out there as much as I do. Yeah. But then there are layers to it. It's like an onion. It's not just one thing. There's so many different things. It's like
so many layers.
There are. And I feel like there's so many different ways in which you can show up in front of so many different layers of people, or talking about so many different things. And I think what I'm doing right now is I'm for the first time in a long time being vulnerable to say, like, I'm showing up by telling you what I'm anxious about, and I'm going to demonstrate that. I'm going to demonstrate.
Do you know what's
about something in front of everyone?
Yeah, that's wild. Do you know what's really interesting to me is that was the whole premise behind Launchable in a way, because what I wanted to give everyone, because when I would always find is I would get on calls with people, and I was helping them with their copywriting and their messaging, and I'd be like, what are you selling? And I'd be on a call with them, and they would be so into it. They'd be so passionate. They'd be like, it's really good. It helps this, that, the other. Da, da, da. I'm like, you don't even need me. Like, this is it. All you have to do is just say what you just said, and you've sold it. And then they get on camera, and it was like stale. And like, I was like, and that's where the whole copywriting structure came from. Because I was like, look, and then they'd just be talking in circles and da. And I was like, okay, right, listen, you just need some benchmarks. Like, if you talk from your heart, everything you just said to me, but just hit these, just have this little relate. Firstly, just relate to them, then demonstrate value, then validate. I wanted it to be so simple they could remember it, because I wanted them to show up on it like authentically. And I really hate that as a buzzword, but I was just like, why are you showing up? Like, when you're on a one-to-one call with me here, and even in this, like, we talk to each other differently really when we're on a call. We're very aware that we're on camera. We're not being fully genuine and in ourselves, because we've got an agenda. So it's quite hard to keep peeling back those layers. But
I think for me, my issue is I feel we should have an agenda, and I'm not massively clear on what it is. And that's the thing that throws me off. And that's the thing that always...
I want to dismantle the agenda. Like, that's what I always want to do. I really want to go. I really want to dig until it's like, there is no audience, there is no camera, there is nothing around. It's just us having a conversation. Like that's always the level that I really want to get to, because that's where I feel like even like when you said the other day, you're like, oh, it was really interesting watching one of your conversations because it was like being a fly on the wall. And I was like, that's what I want it to feel like. I want it to feel like someone's got a real peek into my life and who I am. And I always felt that with content, and I always felt that with when I was working with my clients, because I was like, I just found them so much less likable when they were scripted versus when they were one-to-one with me and just telling me how great their service was. And I was like, oh, like all you have to, and it's so hard. It's like, I was like, all you have to do is just be genuine, because I saw it.
Why is it hard?
Because I don't know, actually. I was about to say, I was about to give a good whole explanation, because I was going to say it must just be stage fright, expectations, pressure. I'm not sure, because why?
Then,
like,
I mean, there's probably different reasons for everybody, right?
Oh, so many. Yeah.
I think this is why going live anyway is becoming such a powerful thing, is that I'm trying to figure out that for me, and it's going to be different for everybody. There'll be different reasons. The thing that came up this morning when I was journaling is that it's like, I'm a mess. Like I'm a mess, and everyone's going to see and find out that I'm a mess. And then that will mean not that I'll like lose credibility or anything like that. It was specifically, it was like, it will mean that I can't show up and do my job, because it's like, it's out of integrity for me to do my job and show up as the person that I am, because I can't lead people into mess. Like that's unethical. Like, why would I do that? Why would I lead people into mess? But by like, I'm a mess, it's like the thing that's triggered that is not being able to finish my point, or being like all over the place with like what I'm saying. And there isn't a structure to my speach. And
that's really interesting as well, because that's also one of the things I play, like when we've presented together as well. One of the things I'll do is I'll recap everything, or I'll summarize it as well. Like we'll go on one and okay, summarize and move on. Like that's the thing I do.
Yeah.
Have you noticed that? Do you remember? Like that's what we do. Yeah. And I wonder if that's another thing of like, it's a bit of a safety blanket for that particular trigger for you, because it's like,
maybe
it's creating that bookend, because that's what I've always wanted to do. I've always been like, we need more bookends. And so I'll just like do that bookending. For me, I just don't really want to reveal. I feel I struggle to be genuine, because I think I've got this thing where I feel like if I talk about what's going on in my life, it'll sound pathetic. Quite honestly, I'm like, I think I would come across really unlikable and like, what's the word? Like futile. I feel like my problems are really trivial compared to like what actual things are. I just don't want to be like, I just feel like my problems are really trivial. So I don't really want to talk about them, but they're so significant to me and they're so big. Today, oh God, my thorn was God doesn't make it easy for me. Okay. Like I was so upset about that. I was so upset. I was like, it doesn't make it easy for me. It really got me upset. And I didn't get to fully work through it, but like, I guess it's not, do you know what? I think that's a really significant thing and a really painful thing to feel, when you feel like your life is, things are working just against you in your life. Like it feels like you're swimming upstream. Like that's what it feels like. But it's the thing that triggered it that is, I'm like, so I just can't bring myself to talk publicly about it, which now I'm going to have to, because I've opened it up. But thankfully I've only got 4 minutes till I've got to get on a call, so I can duck out before I have to be truly genuine and vulnerable. But yeah, oh, bless you, John. See, that's a good thorn. Well, it's not a good thorn, but it is a thorn. John said, I definitely feel like my whole life is working against me. Yeah.
And that, I mean, that is something to look at, right? All of these constructs are things to look at, because it's not,
Yeah, so hard, isn't it? It's so hard,
necessarily, it's not, I can tell you this now, it's not true. And
right?
it might feel true, but the reality of it is that it isn't. But it's driving a version of your world that then becomes true.
I know, because I've been like, you know, when I sort of like just got a bit of perspective on that, God makes it so hard for me, you know, or whatever it is, whatever you believe in, right? Like whatever's pulling the strings makes it hard for me. I'm like, are you joking? Like I think about things like how we met. How is that even possible? How is it possible that we're here? I didn't do that. Like I know we work really hard, but I couldn't have made our relationship happen how it has, you know? Like the fact that like, I don't know, I've had food and water every single day of my life. I have friends, like I am loved. Like that, like how can I say it's not easy for me when I have absolutely everything I need? You know, it's like I can feel sorry for my circumstances, but everything I think without any exception has probably come very easy to me. And I don't mean that like I haven't got a silver spoon. I'm not like wealthy. I'm not like, you know, I'm not even in a relationship. I really struggle with relationships. So I think that was the context of it. That's not coming easy. But you know, everything else, everything comes easy. Like I've got everything I need. So anyway, I don't want to undermine that you feel like your life is working against you. I kind of just wanted to pull that like there's an opposite to that, which is probably true, you know, and that's where your salvation is through the eye of that needle.
Eye of the needle, I'm telling you.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
It. Do you know
you need to get yourself a trigger, a thorn finder, a thorn digger friend.
It's I mean, I actually feel really nervous to encourage anybody to take this journey because it's been very hard. And
it is hard, isn't it? Because I'm like how do you encourage someone to like actively hurt themselves? Because that's what you need to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's healing, isn't it? But I think, yeah, I don't know. In terms of giving advice, I don't feel like I'm the one that can in terms of that. But we can share our experiences and hopefully maybe inspire someone to look into going on their own healing journey in that way.
I'm feel like on Zoom in case my call turns up. There's a lot of no-shows, so they might not show.
I feel like this going live anyway is forcing me through the eye of the needle, and it's the most uncomfortable. It was the most uncomfortable thing this morning, but I've worked on it. I've journaled it. I've turned it around, and hopefully that thorn is gone. And
one of the things I've wondered, you threw your journals away. I kept mine. I've got all my journals, and I was like, I feel like there's so much because I've got so many things where I'm like, this is horrible in my life. And then you watch the journey and I come through the other end. Like I've documented so many needles. And I was like, this would be amazing to publish. The thought is horrendous, but maybe I'll do some like journal, like reveal like some journal entries that I made and show that journey of like, this is where I started. And by the end of it, this is my experience. I feel like that would be very powerful, but not there yet.
Yeah, that's very, very vulnerable. That's incredibly vulnerable to do that for sure.
Well, I've got my call. She's shown up.
Well, have an amazing call. I'll let you drop off and I will wrap up here. But thank you, Caroline, for exploring.
Marion said, it's like the medicine when we were kids tasted awful, but we knew it'd make us feel better. Exactly.
It is a bit like that. Yeah. It is like that.
Yeah, it is that. Exactly.
Yeah, it is. It's doing the thing doing the thing will make you feel better is not always comfortable and it's not always easy.
Really is. All right, I'm going to go. You guys, I might come back later. Bye.
Okay. Bye. So there we go. And that was off the back of just being on the phone with Caroline. We were talking about this and she was sharing her experience and I was sharing mine. And genuinely this morning, like I did feel properly triggered off the back of going live, especially to then, realize that I had also prevented Jennifer and John from going live as well, which was a bit uncomfortable. But journaled all the way to an appointment, and I found out what it was just before I went into this appointment. And I went into this appointment feeling, I had an appointment with an osteopath, not an osteopath actually. She was a consultant, and not an obstetric. What was she? Amos isn't listening, so he can't help. A bloody bone doctor. What's a bone doctor? Help me. I've lost my mind. Orthopedic. I said obstetric, and then I said osteopath, orthopedic doctor. And I had this belief that had come up, right? And this thorn had come up whilst I was live. And then when I came off the live, it was still there. And then when I went into this appointment, I just uncovered it and got to the point of what it was that was upsetting me. And it was like, I'm a mess. Like, I'm a bit of a mess. I'm all over the place. I am messy and I'm all over the place. And that felt really humiliating to have revealed that in front of people, in front of, like, you know, this whole going live anyway. I mean, that was the purpose of going live anyway, was to work through the triggers that came up. Not necessarily to like publicly humiliate myself and own it in front of everyone, or even come and do 0.5 lives, which is not something I was planning on doing. But I walked in there, and it's so interesting when that trigger is driving you, how it shows up in every other area. So like, I couldn't find where to park, and I was late, and she wasn't particularly friendly. And so I felt like I was just like being, like, literally, I just felt like I was being a mess. And and even like, I walked into the building, and I was like, I said to the people in the reception room, I was like, in the waiting room, I was like, where's reception? And they were like, oh, it's a screen. You have to put yourself in on this screen. And then I put myself in the screen, and this really kind man, he said to me, oh, and now they will just call you and you can sit down. And I felt really embarrassed. I was like, okay, thanks. And I went and sat down. And then this woman came and called me through, and I kind of sheepishly got up and walked with her. And then, I don't know, I just felt really like, I felt really exposed and really vulnerable by the whole thing. It wasn't until after I'd finished that appointment, then when I got in the car and came home, that I was able to really finish that journaling process and turn it around. And now I feel so much better, because the turnaround was like, I am me, and that is enough. Like, I am me, and that is okay. Like, the messiness of me, the humanness of me, is what inspires other people that aren't perfect to also feel like they can get out and put themselves out there, you know. And so that is a beautiful thing. And then what happened was that, like, I looked at my phone, and genuinely I burst into tears, because I realized that someone had posted a going live anyway video and tagged me in it. And I was like, oh, wow, that's amazing that has inspired someone to do that too. So yeah, there we have it. That was day one of this actually making me feel super uncomfortable. It's not logical, by the way. Now, you might be watching this and be feeling like, you don't come across as messy. Well, it's not a logical thing. When we get triggered, it's an emotional response. It's like so your body just suddenly starts releasing hormones that make you feel fight or flight, right? It's like really, really uncomfortable, sometimes feeling sick, sometimes feeling panicky, sometimes feeling dread, sometimes feeling doom, depending on what that trigger is. And so, yeah, it's not logical, and it doesn't make a whole lot of sense, but working through it is the most powerful thing. And that's the whole point of going live anyway, is not to, as Caroline said, try and force myself to like get triggered or try to trigger myself, but it's to do the thing that makes me feel uncomfortable, so that when I do feel uncomfortable because of it, I can work on it. And as a result, be stronger and come out the other side feeling a lot more able to do it from a place of intention, rather than do it from a place of, oh, I should do that, and just forcing myself to get over it. I'm coming at it and from a place where I'm feeling good about it. Anyway, that's all I wanted to say. I'm going to wrap up. I can't see the chat, but because it's glitched out. But hello to everybody who's watching on the replay or watching live. Great to have you here. And I would love to hear if this has inspired anything for you, or if you've got any comments, please do just drop them